Hello again. In this video we're going to solve a word problem which requires us to use the Pythagorean theorem. So let's go ahead and just start reading it. We have a ladder 20 feet tall is resting against a wall. The top of the ladder touches the wall at a height of 16 feet. Find the distance the foot of the ladder is from the building. So we have a building and it has a ladder leaning up against it. And I'm cheating and I'm using the nice features of the program I'm using. Let me go ahead and try to make this look a little bit more like a ladder. So we have a ladder leaning up against this building. And buildings are built typically 90 degrees to the floor. And that's if it's a good building. If it's not, then we got slanting things and that's not good. We prefer a straight wall. So this 90 degrees is important because it makes it a right triangle. And when we have a right triangle, if we take the square of the legs and we sum them together, so if we square a squared plus b squared, that is equal to the hypotenuse squared. This is what we call Pythagorean theorem. So remember, a and b here are legs. It doesn't matter what order we have them in because it's addition, so you can change the order. But C here is important that this is the hypotenuse. And the hypotenuse is always across from the right angle. So hypotenuse is always going to be C. It's the slanted angle. Now that we got that out of the way, let me reread my problem now that I've forgotten it. And it says a ladder is 20 feet tall resting against the wall. Well, I actually know the length of this ladder. It is 20 feet. And I know that the top of the ladder touches the wall at a height of 16 feet. So where the top of this ladder is touching, the length here is 16 feet. Find the distance from the foot of the ladder from the building. So A here is our unknown, we can call it X. Okay? Now all we have to do is plug and chug this into the formula. So we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we got to do a little bit more simplifying. So x squared is just x squared plus 16 squared. Well, if we don't know it, we can multiply it. And we have 6 times 6 is 36. Carry the 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus the 3 is 9. Placeholder. We got the same thing. We'll add it up and we should get 256. And we do. So 16 squared is 256. And 20 squared, I hope you do know, I'm going to assume we do, it's 400. Now there's a couple of ways we can solve this. If you know about the square root, because you only have an x squared here, and there's no linear term, we can go ahead and isolate x squared, and then take the square root of both sides of the equation, and we'll solve for x. If we don't know about square roots though, and let's pretend we don't, we are going to go ahead and make this a quadratic equation because we have x squared, and that means we got to get it equal to 0. So we're going to subtract 400 from both sides of the equation, and what we do to one side we do to the other. We'll combine like terms. We got x squared. Now when we're subtracting these two, let me give you a nice reminder of how we subtract signs that are different. You take the bigger guy, whatever he may be, 400 in this case, minus the smaller because the signs are different. We got a little bit of borrowing ahead of us. And when we subtract these two numbers, the number we get keeps the sign of the larger absolute value. So in this case, the negative. So we have negative 144 equal to 0. And I know you guys could have done that. I just wanted to torture you. So let me get rid of that. Now, when we look at this guy, since it's equal to 0, we have to factor this polynomial. It only has two terms. It's in descending order. The only way we can factor it is if it's a difference of squares. And sure enough, 144 is a perfect square. So this factors nicely to x plus 12 times x minus 12, still equal to 0. Now we'll solve for x for each individual one, and we have x equals negative 12 or x equals positive 12. Now remember, x is representing the distance from the ladder to the wall, so this is in feet. And let's make sure we think about our answer and if it makes sense. If I said the ladder's negative 12 feet from the wall, the negative doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, so we throw this answer out. If I say it's 12 feet from the wall, that makes more sense. So there is our answer. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Take care.